Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with my boys, Petey and Kelsey. What's up, gents?
Hey, what's going on?
Ready to rock.
Hey, today we're talking about Avengers Doomsday. Who's in it, who's not? What's your thoughts on it? So we'll just drop this off right off the top. Cal, what's your take on this new lineup of, even seeing some of the people who are currently on Avengers Doomsday? What's your take on it? Is this what you wanted to see? Is it exciting? Is it not? Please tell us.
No, no, it's not what I wanted to see, but hey, how many people is it? 20? Is it 27?
Yeah.
Right now, 27, but we think this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Again, the knowledge that I had about what was coming down the pike was with Kang, and then of course, they decided they were going to make a hard left. A lot of the plans seemed to be abandoned or repurposed using not Doctor Doom, but a Doctor Doom from an alternative universe. So I really have a big shoulder shrug. It's going to be a heavy cast. I'm looking, and even though it's a heavy cast, not all the names are there. So there's probably still some people, I think you mentioned Doctor Strange hasn't been shown. So then it becomes, all right, so who are these guys that are here? What role they're going to play? We got the X-Men in there. At least supposedly the X-Men are going to be in there. I have no idea what this film is, but it made for a great press release, and a lot of people, tuned in for it. So, you're getting interest, keeping people interested.
What's your take, Petey?
I have, well, first off, understanding that it's Doom, that you have to have Reed Richards, since they're leading up to the Secret Wars where it became a big fight between Doom and Reed Richards. So they have him at the head next as being Thor, but then Reed isn't. He was a part of the Avengers for like 3 issues. Like Thing was a part of the West Coast for like 2. I think they had some later ones like Secret or whatever where the Thing showed up in there. Probably later on, there's some issues I hadn't seen where the Visible Woman was a part of it. But in my mind, if you're doing a movie, you wouldn't really think of these people as Avengers. In Secret Wars, the Marvel superhero Secret Wars, but they can't say Marvel. They're selling the Avengers, so they have to say Avengers, not MCU versus Doomsday. It's Avengers Doomsday. So we get Thing. Well, Shang-Chi was also already said to be a part of this, so he's going to be a part of it. The Sentry somehow goes from being a bad guy to a good guy. I don't know. Then we get, well, good Lord, Rebecca Romaine is going to be in this? Whoa.
Yeah, the old X-Men cast is on.
So this is my big issue, right?
All dead.
Huh?
They're all gonna die.
My issue is not them being dead is not the issue. My issue is that I went to see X2, right? I did not like X1. I can't say I liked any of the other movies. Maybe bits in here and there, and for the new X-Men, one of the linchpins is Nightcrawler, right? And the opening scene of X2 is killer, right? No Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and they got, I think, even though it was obviously a creation of, it had the voice that I guess Claremont and Dave Cockrum gave them. The multiple teleports, I think Byrne was doing, they had that in there. And then they had what Claremont did later, making them extremely religious. They even gave them tattoos to make a big deal. This was a really visual representation of Nightcrawler. And we didn't get to see him in the next movies. And it's really sad to say. I think when they asked him, and he was like, no, I can't. I'm too old to be a Nightcrawler now. And now he's Nightcrawler. He's probably going to show up as a minister, not going to be bad. Maybe he'll teleport once or twice. But it's like you had Alan Cummings with his young You know, it could be that he could bounce around. Not to say that you see him and he's like, you know, in a superhero outfit, that sort of thing. The X-Men outfits are very, you know, simple things, that sort of thing in the movies. But it's just like, I didn't think it was gonna work, and it like totally worked. So I was just like, why not do more of it? And then you get what you want out of Wolverine. Like Wolverine is a classic reactor. Even though they've done solo things, you have other people there so he can react, right? He can't, you know, you can do solo stuff, but the key portion of what you saw in X2, when Nightcrawler's like, I was at this, and we're like, shut up, we're about to fly, like that sort of thing. And so we had some touches of that. So it's just kind of sad to get to this portion, and we get Nightcrawler. But at the same time, having Nightcrawler and the Beast in the same movie, I know, no, actually, when they were in the X-Men, Beast was there and Nightcrawler was in England in Excalibur. So they were never really, I mean, there was a couple stories, there was a bunch of stories where they were together, when they fought together, that sort of thing. But it's just sad. It's just sad for me. And then someone else brought up, we got Prince Namor and Sue. It's like, there's no point in doing a Sue and Namor kind of pulling him away. This is, the whole thing was, in the comic books, Sue was, they were just engaged, right? So then, and she just taken with Reed. So there's a point where you could lose, you could be doubtful, but obviously she goes with Reed. Are they going to try to throw in a romance, a side triangle in here? There's too many characters for any of that. And, nobody wants to see Namor. Nobody wants to see this Namor. I'm sorry. All right, I said enough. I did enough complaining.
I'm not sorry.
He's part of
no one wants to see this Namor. They ruined Namor.
He's part of the new Avengers. So the new Avengers is going to be, you know, of course, Cap is going to be the one. Captain is going to be the one. Thor. They're supposed to have Namor and Shang-Chi. So they're all going to be part of the new Avengers, basically, or the basis of what the new Avengers will be going forward. You have, but a lot of these characters, I think, because we have a whole nother set of X-Men, right? The first class X-Men. So I don't know if they're going to incorporate them going forward, but I can't see you're going to have two separate classes of X-Men there. So one of them got to go, and I think the one that's definitely going to go is probably going to be this older group, the one that gets destroyed, and they're going to be like, hey, because it's going to be based on the incursions where different worlds are. I mean, so they've been pushing this for so long. This multiverse is taking forever to go through. And the incursion situation is, well, we're going to get rid of these X-Men from this world or whatever. They'll show up, but we'll have the others from the first class. And I think that's how we're going to bring everything together at the very end and truly introduce the X-Men for the next generation. I'll probably be in Secret Wars. It's not going to be now. From what I've been looking at, this is what they're saying is going to happen. Because, you can't have two Scott Summers. You can't have two Professor X.
So
right?
James Marsden's going to die again. That's what you're saying.
I think they're going to probably even keep. They're not going to make him younger. I think they're going to keep him roughly the same age, right? I mean, it's especially if you're not going to use them for long. It's too many characters for people to focus on, right? So they're going to have to focus. Even when they did in the last set, the big movies they did the last one, they only focused on the separate characters: Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Captain America. You know, you're only going to focus on 4 or 5 major characters or their groups and how they interact. You can't focus at least on 27, and we know there's more. They're missing Spider-Man. They're missing Doctor Strange. They're missing a lot.
Hulk was in the stills.
Hulk was in the stills, but he's not there, right?
He's not in this list.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. There's going to be others that are going to have to be there. And, of course, Hulk's got to be a big part of that. So, as far as I'm saying, this is just the initial list and the death list also. I hope I like Gambit. Probably they reincorporate Gambit into the whole thing. Who knows? You know, Gambit turned out better from the Wolverine, the Deadpool Wolverine movie. So they said, hey, let's bring him back. You know, I don't think they're gonna get rid of Paul Rudd, and Wyatt Russell. I mean, we also see kind of like this movie also, from what we're seeing, is kind of like it kind of lets the cat out the bag, because now we know who basically is going to survive the Thunderbolts movie. We see Wyatt Russell survives, right? That's John Walker. We see that that Florence Pugh survives. She's Yelena Belova, right? So we already know basically who's going to survive the movie.
But we know who's going to die too, right? Don't we already know who's going to die?
Well, we're thinking Ghost is going to die.
No, Ghost is in this film.
She is where?
She's somewhere in there, ain't she?
I didn't see her.
I thought yeah, Ghost. Hannah, I would. Would you kill her? I wouldn't kill her.
Oh, Hannah John-Kamen. All right, so my apologies, but did Sentry make it through the list too?
Country made it, but I think what's that? Is Elena? Who's that's the black the
That's
black.
the the Black Widow, right? The new
Well, I
Black Widow.
think what's the name? I think
Yeah, there goes the
don't
Sentry
have no
weapon.
lines. I think they're gonna have who's that girl? The Taskmaster. She's gonna get it.
Yeah, I think she's definitely going to get it. I thought Sentry was going to get it, but clearly not. So now, like I said, do you need to see the Thunderbolts movie? Who knows? I mean, I'm going to watch it. I think it's funny as hell. The trailers have been definitely capturing me, but I don't know.
They can all get it.
Let's give it a shot. Well, that's going to be the nucleus of probably the new Avengers, it looks like. Any thoughts on any more of this, guys?
I'm worried. Too many characters, not enough Avengers, and we're not even seeing the. Yeah, you did point out. I didn't. I keep missing Gambit being in there. The young Avengers, those the other Falcons in there. Good lord! But the stills. Are we gonna see? We're gonna see Ms. Marvel. We're gonna see Plucky. The other young guy characters and Green Hulk was it young Hulkling? Sorry, Hulkling. It could be too many characters to ruin, too much superheroes to ruin the pot. It's hard.
They're going with they're going with the winning formula. The winning formula is that one superhero doesn't necessarily sell the movie, as well as having all of his buddies, so you can have this interaction. So if you get a little tired, and then you don't have to focus. You don't have to do a whole movie based on this character, the villain, the love interest, the supporting characters. Like, hey, we can throw in a whole bunch of A-listers here, and so we're just moving from from visual, from shot to shot, from to shot to head to head to head, and everybody should be happy. This will definitely make it a lot easier for us. So you got that going on, but I do have to admit, what Petey's saying, it seems like a little untenable. I don't see, and again, Infinity War. I get why you needed all the characters because this was a big deal. Okay, this was a really big deal. This was the greatest threat they had ever faced. It was on multiple levels. You needed all hands on deck. Nothing is really built to this type of situation. If they're going with the incursion, there's been very little foundation for it, unless it's going to start with this film. So I'm definitely not sure where all this goes. I do believe in the old saying of too many chefs spoil the broth, and there's a whole bunch of chefs in terms of lead characters in this particular film. But we gotta wait and see.
Well, I would say if you think of how the Russos handled Infinity War, and I like Infinity War a lot more than I liked Endgame. I would say the hook to why that one was able to handle so many characters because the movie was almost it was almost Thanos Infinity War because it started from Thanos. He was the focus through the entire thing. I'm not sure they're going to take Doom and have Doom be the focus through the entire thing so he can interact with all these different groups. That's a way to, but even this is even more, seems like even more than that. And you're doing alternate timelines. It's going to be a lot to do. So with Thanos started the movie. He dropped to Earth, had his people, like specifically put the people there. Then he went to someone else, and then it's like, still following the Thanos thread through the entire thing. So it's kind of his movie with the Avengers kind of in there, and then they killed so many people. They had a number of Avengers to handle this next thing. Even with us supposed to be getting Captain Marvel, she kind of exits the early part of the movie and comes at the tail end for them when they stole the scene from the superpowers, where Superman just goes through the machine. So, even with that, me giving it an avenue to go, say follow through Robert Downey Jr., Zoom, and that's the thing. They're gonna be. I mean, he's an actor. He wants to be seen on screen. He's not. Was it Hugo Weaving who could wear a mask in 2 movies and not be shown? Like Robert Downey Jr. is gonna go for this tiny scar that when Kirby was reversing the idea of Doom and saying Doom only has a tiny scar, it's his ego that does this, right? When Kirby done scenes where Doom took off the mask and him and Stan Lee go, ugh. So we have an actor, and if you do a face that's just kind of messed up a little bit, like Tom Cruise in that whatever that Vanilla Sky movie is, it's not going to work. The whole hook of Doctor Doom is not seeing the face, so then you don't get to play up him being, oh, Tony, what happened? No, I am not Tony, I'm Victor Von Doom. No, you're our friend. I know you're in there, Tony. Like you're not supposed
No, he's not in there. No. Don't waste our time with that either. He's not in there. It's not Tony.
Come on, Tony. I know we are different views on politics.
Our different dimensions. You being a totally different being altogether. But I know you're still in there.
You're in there. You had a kid. I didn't. My illegitimate sons, Christoph. No, you have a girl, a very beautiful girl, and you saved the universe to save her. No. And then they saw the girl. He just blast her. But yeah. So this is not to disagree. They do have an angle that they have done. This is even more than that. Even to do that, they had to put Hulk in Iron Man armor. Thor had to once again go to a whole side plot. Run to make a new hammer to handle the situation for some, I forgot the reason. But they had all these things that separated this, and I think they did it, a little more cohesive than they did the other movie. But now we have a whole bunch of characters we ain't even seen in a long time. That's the other thing. We ain't seen Shang-Chi. He had a successful movie. We haven't seen him in who knows how long. We can't blame the pandemic on everything.
That's so true. You're right about that. Shang-Chi did well, and but I think Marvel has been just trying to get through all the things. They had a very aggressive schedule before, and they cut that down. So that's why the reason you haven't seen his movie. His movie probably won't show up till after Avengers Secret War. So it's going to be 5, 6, 7 years before you see him again in his own solo mill, which is crazy. But unfortunately, that's how it's going to work. I just think that with the Incursion storyline, which is basically where you have different multiverses crashing in together, getting destroyed, or I think the whole universe is contracting, and Dome is at the center of this whole thing, because of the destruction of what I think he was killing the Molecule Man. It's an interesting story. I don't know if they're going to do the exact same thing there.
They're going to bring the Molecule Man into this?
Well, that's part of the Incursion storyline. So the thing is that you have to, Disney has taken so long to get this whole multiverse going forward, from the end of the last Avengers series, the last 2 movies, to now. People have started to turn off, like, hey, what else is going on? But I think it's a really big story. I mean, it was a Secret War story, right? It was the Fantastic Four. You have new Avengers, and you have all these characters coming together. So it should be a fantastic universal. I mean, it should be as big as what was going on with the Infinity Stones, right? But it's just taken so long, and there's been many of the new characters they created, and they weren't quite as popular or weren't well developed as we'd hoped, But I think this is probably where it could, if the Russos, and I'm crossing my fingers, if they can do what they did with their last big Avengers hits, probably this is something that they can probably do. It's very complicated, and it helped with having Kang in there, because he is the multiverse person, But now with Doctor Doom was in it too, so it was a focus of it. So now we'll see what actually goes on.
We got the end of the X-Men universe in Deadpool, didn't we? Didn't we get the end of the X-Men universe in Deadpool and in the Doctor Strange? Isn't it over now?
It clearly is not. Again, that's why we have these old X-Men characters coming in, and they're not going to survive in order to prove the other ones. Basically what they're saying, if they decide First Class is a new X-Men, or remember the thought was always being, are we going to do a brand new X-Men? Or are we going to go back to First Class? I mean, what are we doing, right? We're definitely not going all the way back to the time period of Ian McKellen, right? Ian McKellen, right? We're not going to go that far back. or James Marsden, we're going to come up with something new, or at least closer. So, I mean, I don't know how much people love the first class heroes, versus the. I just can't see Patrick Stewart doing this for another 5 movies or whatever. It just doesn't seem that possible at this stage,
Yo, he's up for anything.
He's up for anything, but come on, there's the point. Basically, we're just talking about Stan Lee. I mean, there's a point where the man has to say, like, yo, I've been working for 70 years. I need to take a break. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, he's going to go to the con and say, let's watch that trailer again. It was so great. Again. Let's watch it.
I don't know the last time
as long as you want. But with Stan, I think there's a difference between working and abusing someone who pretty much, can't say, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, all kudos. I hope this thing takes off, and I hope this is definitely the start of the filming. Let's see what happens, especially with M'Baku now being the king of Wakanda. Let's get this bad boy running.
If he's the king, what is he doing in? No, I guess it's
wait. Cut. What did you say? Did you say M'Baku? Yeah, bite your tongue. Yeah, bite your tongue.
He's saying he had the ceremony at the end of Wakanda Forever, so he's the king, and Black Panther just gonna be running around doing superhero stuff.
No, we gotta get rid of that nonsense. I mean, I guess eventually I'm gonna have to step up and see Wakanda Forever. I'm still on strike, but T'Challa is the Black Panther. Anybody else is a substitute. Okay, M'Baku is a DEI hire. Get him out of here.
Well, they DEI the gorilla people from the north. Give me a break. Look,
that's right.
He is, according to the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki, he is the king. He is the king of Wakanda right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the movie. At the end of the movie, you can see there was a bit of thing. He says, I mean, Winston Duke, the actor, says, "Yeah, I'm the king of Wakanda."
Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
That's a whole other argument we could discuss.
That is such treachery. Anybody who loves the Black Panther knows Wakanda. That is such treachery. I can't even say it without getting ready to spit. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, get T'Challa back where he belongs. You people don't know what you're doing. I would take a flamethrower to that film if I had ever gone to see it in the theater. M'Baku is not the Black Panther. T'Challa is the Black Panther. He's not being
the Black Panther. He's the king of Wakanda. There's a
T'Challa, son of T'Chaka. Okay, son of Bashanga, that is the Black Panther. M'Baku's a villain.
He never said that. He said he is the king of Wakanda. They're just separating roles. Like if you look in the comics, where you had Shuri was the Black Panther and T'Challa was the king.
You mean the same way that they got Doctor Strange, who's the Sorcerer Supreme, who doesn't want to take his job back, and so we got substitute Wong running around over here, doing magic when the Sorcerer Supreme is back here. No,
in the current comics, they have Doctor Strange.
He's both head of state, okay, and the top guy when it comes to the Black Panther cult within Wakanda. Let's get this back to where it belongs, people. Stop partitioning this out. Okay.
In the current comics, they have Doctor Strange is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme. They now have our friend Dr. Doom as the Sorcerer Supreme. There's a whole Doomsday event going on right now in the comics.
I don't know about you, but I think that's a mistake. Well, no, I forgot. You like the villains. So
I don't like villains. I just wanted good characters. And so Dr. Doom, so the Sorcerer Supreme now is trying to become.
Problem with that? Yeah,
and then
come on. Be real with me now.
Doctor Strange.
Don't antagonize me. Don't spin me. Okay.
I'm just telling you the facts, my brother. I'm just telling you the facts, my brother. And so Doctor Strange is now trying to become the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard. Which, by the way, the comic is not bad. I liked it.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I liked it so far.
How are you saying? Yeah, is Asgard still on Earth or no?
No, it's not.
Why does Asgard need a Sorcerer Supreme?
He went looking for a job.
All right, we're out of here. This is it.
I'll do a review for you guys.
Okay.
Okay, if you like what you hear, guys, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Spinnerack.
We are
T'Challa forever. We're out.
Out.
Yeah.